Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we are back on the PC-50 project again, and here it is in all its glory. What I'm going to be doing today is hopefully fitting a basket to the front. Now this is something that I've wanted to do for quite a while, and now that I've decided to delete the front mudguard and ride without the front mudguard, it's going to help to break the front up a little bit because it's looking pretty bare. So it's actually been pretty difficult to just find a standard kind of wire basket like this, but Halfords have ended up coming through with their imaginatively named wire basket. So this is 20 quid, which is pretty cheap, pretty happy with that. It comes with its own mounting setup. Now this goes on the bars, and then there's kind of like a quick release mechanism on it. Hopefully you can see there, it says push open. But I've had a look at this, if the mount's there and the basket was sat up there like that, it really looks kind of, don't really know how to explain it, kind of granny shopping bike kind of vibe to it, which I don't want. But what I have noticed is that if I have it a bit lower over the front wheel, maybe not this low, but I'll just show you for demonstration purposes. I can get it to balance. Is it going to balance? There we go. Somewhere like that actually seems to suit the bike a lot better. Now, obviously I can't have it on the front wheel like that. We're going to have to do a little bit of modification, but I think with some bolts, nuts and bolts, and some trusty old cable ties, I think I can get this to work lower down than the handlebars, and I think it'll look a lot better. I can't remember if I mentioned in a previous video, but basically I'm just trying to make this a kind of practical shopping bike in a way, something that I can actually go to the shops with and use. I did my shopping run this week with the car, and there's no chance without these extra bits that I'll be able to do a shopping trip quite yet. So hopefully with this on the front and maybe a box on the back that can be taken on and off, I should be able to go and do shopping trips on it. So yeah, let's have a look at mounting this up. Now, something that I've noticed, which is very crazy in terms of coincidence, you see these two bolts at the top here, which hold the clip for the quick release that comes with it, that thing in there. That's actually exactly the same distance, if you can see here, as this clip which I've already got on the bike. Let's see if I can get a better camera angle. So you can see there, look, that those two bolts go perfectly into that. I can't believe that. Something that's made in 1972, maybe earlier, and a basket that's been made, what, probably in the last couple of years. And somehow they've both gone for the identical measurement between the bolts. So I'm hoping I can make use of that. Now, one thing I think I'll do with this is turn it the other way around, and then I'm hoping I can use that to mount it to, and then just strengthen it up with some cable ties so it doesn't fly off onto the front wheel. And if I need to, I might add some supports here that can just take a bit more weight and make sure that it doesn't hit the front wheel as well. So first job, I'm going to take this off and flip it round, and then we'll see if we can somehow take these bolts off, maybe take this plastic bit off and make use of these bolts to be able to attach it to the bike. So let's give that a go first of all. Okay, so first of all, let's loosen this with what I believe will be a 10. Let's give that a go. Yeah, it is. The great thing about this is that you don't need to take out all the cables to wrap it around the cables, because you can undo this screw, and then when it's off, you can just do that, which is nice. So I just actually need to put that straight back on the other way around like that. Nice and easy. Now hopefully you can see from that camera angle, instead of it hanging in a way where it could fall, now it can hopefully just sit on those. So I think the next thing to do is loosen these off and see if we can get this piece of plastic off. Okay, finally got those off. They come off nice and easy apart from one bolt. You can see that the plastic's actually a bit chewed already. They've been over tightened a little bit by the looks of it. But yeah, that's really good that that just comes off, because now we've got just a plate to work with two holes. That's perfect. And we've got some bolts that we can try and use, and I've got the nice rounded nuts as well. So hopefully with the stand that we've got here, this little thing, we can make something work. I'm gonna have to tighten that up a bit more now. So there you can see they do sit on that. pretty nicely. You can see there, but that's probably not going to go tight enough to be able to grip to it. Okay, we've gone with the trusty cable ties for now, and it's actually pretty solid. I mean, cable ties are just amazing at how much they can hold. Now, obviously that is going to be holding weight, so I don't want it to be just reliant on that. So I'm thinking underneath here, you can see we've got access to these bolts. If I can bend some pieces of metal to go at a sort of right angle, it'd have some support underneath, and then maybe through the bottom here I can attach some bolts just to make it so it can carry a lot more weight. But I mean, for getting in position, etc., those cable ties are working all right. So I think if they're just holding that on at the top, using that existing piece, and then we've got the support at the bottom, which I could bolt in and then just use cable ties again probably. I think that should be good enough. Obviously I'm not going to be putting kilograms and kilograms of weight in this. It's going to be things like bread, etc., you know, groceries. So we'll try that and see how that works. Okay, so I've got these little things that I've bought, and I think what I can do is bend these into a 90-degree right angle and use those to put underneath like this. So I can have one on each side because I've got these two bolts in the front of the bike. You can see the far one there. There's a hole for the near one here, which I have down here. But these don't quite go through these holes. So I'm gonna have to slightly drill out these holes, which shouldn't be too difficult, hopefully. Bend them both 90 degrees, and then hopefully I can have those running underneath like this, and then I'll just cable tie it to the rest of the holes on there. Then that should be fairly solid. One thing that I have realised is that this basket obviously needs to be away from this part of the frame, because when you're turning, it doesn't want to be touching that. It kind of naturally falls like that, but if we can get it a little bit away like that as well, that's going to be absolutely perfect. Okay, so after a bit of fettling, I've managed to make some extremely crude right-angled holders like this, right-angled brackets. You could probably just buy these, but I had these knocking around, so I thought I'd give it a go. I've drilled out both these holes a little bit, bored them out a bit so that the bolts fit through. So now we can attach both of these to the front. Could either do it that way or maybe even that way. Hopefully they're going to be able to hold the basket. Right guys, I seem to have managed to attach this pretty solidly. Now, to say this is crude is probably one of the biggest understatements, but I basically bent those brackets, as you can see. I definitely need to pack some washers into here just to space it a bit. And then what you can see I've done underneath is just gone through the basket and through those holes with cable ties. Obviously I'll cut all these loose ends off. Obviously cable ties up here as well. It'd be good if we could get a better solution than that, just so it's a bit more weight bearing, but that isn't a half bad, you know, and I think that'll do the job for what I need. I kind of like that. I'm kind of into it. So that's what it looks like at the front of the bike. It looks pretty crazy. And the last thing to do, I guess, is to cut all those ends and neaten things up. So let's do that. Okay, so we've cut the labels off. I've trimmed down all the ends of these. It's looking good. I mean, like I say, that's one of the crudest jobs I've ever done. The principle is good. I mean, if I had a vise and a bit better tools, I could probably bend those a bit nicer. I definitely need to pack some washers onto these so that they're nice and secure. That'll help things. But because it's all kind of attached, it's not really going anywhere. So it works, but it would be nice if it was a little bit better. Overall, we've got the basket, we've got my lock in there, some gloves, my bike gloves when I go out. Got the helmet on the back. It's just looking really nice now, and I love how that basket just breaks up the front end a little bit. Looks cool, and I think at some point I'll probably get something across the front of here, maybe some sort of slogan, maybe a Honda logo. That would be really cool, actually. Yeah, that would be really nice to have some sort of Honda logo across there, and probably a bike light as well. Looking a bit ET in a way. But yeah, there we go, guys. Let me know what you think of the basket edition. All in all, for 20 quid from Halfords and a bit of hacking, I'm really into it. So that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with another video very, very soon.